So re-wearing outfits, especially to weddings, there has been for quite a long time a stigma with re-wearing an outfit to a different wedding just in case somebody else sees it or somebody else recognizes it and stuff like that. Now, I do wonder, and this is just my own personal opinion. I think women are probably more fussed with this than men are. I'm not entirely sure if all men would notice things like that. Now, if this is something you're concerned with, borrow dresses, borrow outfits from friends, because buying something new every single time, cause just because you're worried somebody else is going to say something, um, I I personally it doesn't bother me. So I bought a dress for my brother-in-law. He got married about 6 years ago, so I bought a red outfit for that wedding. I wore that same outfit for when my brother got married. And then earlier this year, I wore that same outfit for my other brother in law who got married. So, and people have seen those outfits before. And it really doesn't bother me. Um, it's, I don't think people pay much attention to what a guest is wearing. Um, and if you're wearing the same outfit again, doesn't matter. You're using that outfit again. You're getting your money's worth. And that's the important thing. You're getting your money's worth. And sometimes, especially when you go to weddings, depending on what you spend on an outfit, it can be really expensive. So maybe don't be so worried about. I know it's probably easier said than done, but don't be so worried about what other people are going to think, because there are going to be people out there who just think whatever they want to think. And you know what? Let them get on with it. That's fine. If it really does bother you, borrow outfits from friends. And that's what quite a few years ago, my friend did that as well. She had, I think, in the space of 6 weeks, she had like 5 weddings, like most weekends. And again, she was worried about something not being able to wear the same outfit in case somebody else saw. And obviously, I said to her, had a little bit of a laugh, but she borrowed. I think she borrowed 2 outfits from me. She borrowed one or two outfits from other friends. She borrowed one from her sister, and that stuff. And there's always ways around it without having to spend um, more money on an outfit. So definitely something worth thinking about. Have a look online to see if you've got a local zero waste shop. And the great thing about this is that you turn up with your containers and you just fill up exactly what you need, and that's what you pay for. You've got your own packaging, so no unnecessary waste packaging, and you're paying for what you need. And I think this is a really good way of reducing waste as well, because you're not wasting food. There's no plastic waste, and yeah. So I think my local one, she has a pitch in the nearest town. So whenever I don't go into the town particularly often, but when I do go, I try and make sure I take any containers with me, and just I fill up exactly what I need. I think it's important to learn what certain recycling symbols mean. So I've got a blog on my website, and it has the main recycling symbols, and what they mean, and what kind of plastics can be recycled, what kind of plastics they come under, and whether it can be recycled or not. And I don't think many people are aware of this. I certainly wasn't until I started looking into it. There are certain plastics that cannot be recycled at all. So yeah, I'll put a link below, and then you can have a look for yourself. So with condenser dryers and dehumidifiers, they collect water. What do you do with the water? Well, you can't drink it. So what do you do with it? Putting it down the sink is quite a bit of a waste. So we've got a dehumidifier. I don't have a condenser dryer anymore, but when I did have that, I used to use the water to water the plants. And obviously that just meant during the colder periods where I couldn't hang my clothes outside. I've got a dehumidifier here, and the water collected, I just pop straight into my water butt, and I can use that water for watering some of the plants in the garden, or anything like that. So rather than wasting it, think about how you can actually utilize it maybe at a later date. So where you can, leave your car at home, walk or cycle instead. Obviously, that means that you're going to be reducing your carbon footprint, and it will also save you money because you won't be using that fuel for that little part of the journey. I appreciate that's not always a possibility for everybody, and that's fair enough. But just where you can, if you think you can, leave your car at home and go for a walk, or maybe get a bike if you fancy it. So when I moved to this house in November 2022, now that we've got a bigger garden, I got the compost bin up and running. Never had a compost bin before, so I learned what I could, and it's still going, so that's good. But one of the things that I noticed is that I needed to keep, obviously, all the cuttings and everything, all the bits and pieces that were going to go in the compost, I needed to put them somewhere. So what I did is I started to create these compost bags from newspaper. And it's perfect because it just sits quite nicely in a margarine tub. And then once you fill it up, you just pop it straight into your compost. And because it's newspaper, obviously that's perfect. That'll be fine in your compost bin. Now, I don't buy newspapers. I haven't bought newspapers for, I couldn't even tell you how long. So my other half, he goes to London, he's a football season ticket holder. And on the train, a lot of people tend to just leave newspapers lying around. So he knows when he sees one and he's on his way home, he knows to pick a load up for me. Now, I do have a video on how to make this yourself. I'll put the link below so at least you can have a look. And yeah, I mean, they don't take, if you make a handful at a time, every time you need it, you just grab one. Once it's full, just put the whole thing in the composter. And yeah, so it means I don't need to buy biodegradable bags. Of course, that means it saves me money as well. So yeah. Grab your mates, go and sit and enjoy nature. You know, it's free. It's great for your mental health. And, you know, you just leave all the devices at home and just sit and chat with your friends, get something to eat, and just, you know, take a picnic or something like that if that's your kind of thing. Just enjoy nature. It's beautiful, and it's free. So that's probably one of the best reasons. And I said before, it's great for your mental health. So yeah, enjoy nature. If you have to print from home, I'm sure we've probably all heard this one before, but try and print on both sides of the paper. Obviously, that means that you're utilising both sides of the paper. It depends also what you're printing. If you're printing something that's really highly sensitive or really confidential, obviously that means you can't print on both sides for something else, and you just need to shred it, and that's fine. But where you can, just print on both sides of the paper. Put a big line across the one side that you don't need. Put it back to front in the printer. And next time you need to print something, just use the other side. And, you know, that means you've utilised that bit of paper and you've used both sides. So this is something that my dad used to tell me when I was younger. If I was cold, put a jumper on. He did not want to turn the heating up or even on at sometimes. So if you're cold, just layer up. It's just a lot easier. I work from home. Sometimes it gets a bit chilly during the day, and I'll just put, I'll put a cardigan on or a jumper or something like that. And, you know, that's, in most cases, that's fine. There are going to be times where it's times of the year where it's just too cold. That's fair enough. But, you know, other than that, even my old housemate, she used to say, oh, you're cold, just put a jumper on. So yeah, and it saves you money as well. So this eco tip isn't for everybody, but, you know, and that's fair enough. I wear odd socks. So one of the reasons is because I'm too lazy to match up my own socks. And secondly, is from an environmental point of view. So when you've got a pair of socks and you've got one that's got a hole in it, a lot of times people tend to throw both away. And I think that's a bit of a waste because you're throwing the other one away when it still functions fine. This would mean that you would need to repair the one that has a hole in it. if you try to repair it and it just doesn't work, or you just can't do it, then you get rid of one sock, but then you've got the other sock that still has a function. And that's why I think if it ends up going to landfill or ends up going in recycling or anything like that, I think it's just a complete waste. So yeah, embrace wearing odd socks. It's okay to be different. And plus, who's going to look at your feet anyway? Um, it's never bothered me. It's okay to be different, and it doesn't matter. So embrace wearing odd socks if you fancy it.